Bill rested his head on his hand, propping it up by an elbow on the table. Have you ever had a boyfriend? She smiled. When I was 10, I used to go with the most handsome boy in the 5th grade, Freddie Logan. He was the best dodgeball player in the entire school. He never let me get hit. I could be your boyfriend. I wouldn't let you get hit, Bill said. Raina made it easy. Talking, feeling good, being himself. Raina smiled. You're drunk. Not off of beer. Off of 7 beers, she said. Maybe. You don't have a girlfriend? She peeked at him beneath one set of long eyelashes. The other set had been burned off. I have a lot of girlfriends, but I don't have a girlfriend. His head slipped off his hand and almost hit the table. Raina stood up and then caught herself before she fell back into the chair. Damn, she was drunk too. Come on, let's go, Bill. You're drunk. He shook his head, smiling. I'm sorry. You're not mad, are you? He slurred. She helped him stand. I'm not mad. I never got drunk before. She contemplated it. She probably wasn't drunk, but she was definitely buzzed. It was impossible for Bill to walk a straight line, so she had to put her arm around him and lead him out of the bar. Not a great neighborhood, she remembered. She wanted to hurry to her car, but Bill was urging her in a different direction. I live over here. Come on. He untangled himself from her and headed down the street. She stood frozen in the spot. Bill looked over his shoulder. It's okay. I live just over there. He reached out and took her hand. I don't want you to get a DUI because of me. Come on. Reluctantly, she allowed him to lead her. His hand did feel awfully warm, and holding his hand made her feel excitement very deep in the pit of her belly, where the butterflies were just coming to life. After a few minutes in the cold, Raina was happy to see that Bill was becoming more and more sober. At least he could walk a straight line without stumbling. In less than 5 minutes, they reached a run-down apartment building. There was a drunk passed out on the floor, and the smell of urine was strong. Raina clutched her coat tight around her. Bill put his arm around her shoulder. That's Dog. He won't hurt you. They had to step over his prone body. Sorry about that. It's not a great neighborhood, he reminded her. Raina noted with relief that he didn't seem drunk at all. She relaxed and followed him into a small efficiency apartment. He triple-locked the door, which made her feel better. Have a seat. Let me take your coat. It was a surprisingly nice place. Recliner, futon sofa, a modern dinette set outside a small, neat kitchen. She sat on the futon, and he placed her coat and his jacket on the back of the recliner. I don't have cable TV. He turned on the television set and flipped to a late-night talk show. Is that good? She nodded. I haven't gone to the grocery store, he shrugged, but I have water. Water's good, she responded. He hesitated. Tap water. She smiled with encouragement. That's fine. The beer had left her thirsty, or the fact that she'd gone to the bathroom at least 5 times throughout the night. He returned from the kitchen with 2 glasses of water. Suddenly she felt shy again. She supposed it was being alone in Bill's apartment. Thanks for dinner and the beers. Thank you for the company. I usually just hang out by myself. Because you don't like people? That, and because there's not too many people around here worth being bothered with. As if I am, she said with sarcasm. Raina was shocked to hear the words come out of her mouth, and then embarrassed when Bill didn't respond. Can I use the bathroom? Through there, he pointed. When the bathroom door was closed, she let out an anxious sigh. She was so nervous. Quickly she peed, and then against her better judgment opened his medicine chest. There had to be something in there to take away the edge. Toothbrush, toothpaste, ibuprofen, peroxide, a tin of antacids, dental floss. Raina opened the ibuprofen. Bingo. Blue pills, red pill, yellow. She took a little blue pill that she knew to be a Vicodin. She liked Bill. She didn't want to be uptight. She wanted to be like at the bar when they were laughing. She swallowed the pill with a palmful of water, and then quickly she straightened her hair with her fingers and went back to the living room. Bill was snoring softly. Her mouth dropped open. Disappointed, she decided to leave without waking him. She put on her coat and undid all 3 locks. "What are you doing?" Bill jumped up and rushed to the door, opening it to peek out into the hallway. "You were going to walk out there by yourself?" Raina shrugged, relieved. Frankly, she hadn't wanted to go out in the hall with the drunken man alone, not to mention trying to figure out how to find her car. "Dog is harmless." Bill shut the door and locked it again. "But not everyone in this neighborhood is." He began unbuttoning her coat, and it made Raina's stomach feel funny. Gently, he pulled it off her and redraped it over the recliner. He gestured for her to sit. "I'm going to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Get comfortable." Raina began to relax again by small degrees. She sipped some water and stretched in her seat. Bill blinked as he saw the long line of her stretched form. It was like a sculpture. As a matter of fact, he'd never seen a sculpture that could surpass the beauty in the lines of her body. Careful with this one, he thought. Lord, but she was beautiful. She ducked her head when she noticed that she was being watched. He sat down next to her. "You shouldn't do that. I mean, at least not with me. I don't mind your scars." Raina touched her face quickly, hiding the scars with her hand. "Why? Why don't they bother you? They're ugly." Bill shook his head. "I've seen some bad things in my life, much uglier than any burn scars. At least that's just flesh and skin." He reached out and moved her hand away from her face. "People make you feel ugly. That's why I don't fool with them. People make me feel ugly, and I don't have any scars." "You do," she whispered, "but nobody can see yours." "You can," he said, matter-of-factly. "By your eyes," was her response. "Mostly people tell me my eyes are cold. Maybe because that's all they can recognize. I see something else." Bill sighed. He was horrified to feel his eyes sting. "Geez," he said, pressing his fingers to his wet eyes. He felt her hands on his wrist. Gently, she pulled his hand away. "It's okay." She was smiling. "It's okay." Raina inhaled, sighed, and then spoke with a shaky voice. "I lied to you." Bill looked at her intently. "God," she sighed again. "I didn't have a good childhood, not in the least. All of my brothers and sisters were raised in foster care, and that's all I knew. That and the orphanage. Mostly my foster parents were good and decent, if perhaps a little distant. Once or twice, though, I had a family where the other kids were hard to deal with. At this one house, a bunch of the girls hated me because they said I got special treatment on account I was light-skinned with long hair. Truth be told, I did, 9 times out of 10. One of the girls cut off my long ponytail, and I lost it. My family was going to send the girl away, but everyone was egging me on, saying that I was punking out. Raina stared into Bill's eyes. "It was just hair. It would have grown back." She sighed. "I poured some gasoline into a bowl and flung it at her the night before she left, while she was asleep. It splashed me too. And when I went to light the match, my hand caught on fire. I pressed it against me, and then it caught my top and the splatters on my face. I just started running, and then I grabbed my face with the hand that had the gasoline on it, and it just made it worse." Bill's brow furrowed. She went silent. "What about the other girl?" "Thank God I didn't touch the bed, and I ran the other way. Otherwise, the bed would have ignited, killed her, and probably everyone else in the room. As it turned out, I'm the only one that got hurt." "God, Raina, God." He took her hands, examining them front and back. "Your hands aren't burned. Just 2nd degree. That was the first thing I was able to put out by myself. My foster father had to chase me from room to room to put out the flames on my face. By then the damage was done." Bill licked his lips. He pushed her hair back. He saw that her face was horribly askew, rippled like melted wax. Her lips were untouched, but her nose was missing part of the nostril on one side, and he could see she had a cauliflower ear. But it was her eyes. Her eyes were incredible. Despite. She gently pushed his hand away and stood up. Bill watched her cross the room. Be cautious with her, he reminded himself. She's really hurt. Somehow she had never developed the hard outer shell that most people had. He pulled out the futon until it stretched into a bed. What are you doing?